Hey everyone, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So every year I try to bait some wild honeybees that are up in this tree. It's been really warm and that can cause overcrowding in a beehive. So sometimes they will swarm this time of year, basically half the hive, and it can happen multiple times. They hatch a new queen out and they'll leave the hive and leave the old queen behind and leave the population there to stay. Well, this has been 3 or 4 years that this has been here. Now last year I got a swarm hive from a neighbor down the road, and maybe with a little bit of advanced preparation and some bait, we can set up a hive here and they'll move in all on their own. Now some people will do swarm boxes attached to a tree right up into the tree limbs. The tree limbs on this tree, it's an old cottonwood, are as tall as a second-story house before they even start to go out. There's also a matter of poison ivy. There's a lot of poison ivy up in this area, and I'm not allergic to poison ivy, but I sure do seem to catch it very easy. And I just got over a 2-week bout of poison ivy, and I've been about 9 days poison ivy free. So I'm not willing to introduce myself to that again. That is unnecessary 2 weeks of suffering. This area can be wet. We brought in some topsoil and kind of filled it in. So rather than going into what is going to get to be tall weeds, we just clipped the hay in this field, and I'm putting cinder blocks on the dirt to rise it up off of the ground. They like to have a landing board, which is, mind my dust, the front couple inches of the bottom board. So that's just kind of like their front porch. And I have lemongrass oil. Some people buy baits from bee suppliers, eBay, and a lot of times all it is lemongrass oil on a cotton swab into a plastic straw. So that's what we've got for bait. Now putting this up on cinder blocks is going to raise it up off of the ground in case it does get wet and give them that front porch area that they need. Now we've got some homeowner neighbors across the road, and their mailbox is probably 50 feet away, and they've seen me do this before. So they're accustomed to seeing it, and if he wanted me to explain it, he just missed his opportunity, because if you run away from me at the road, you're not going to get a discussion about the bees. So I do 2 layers high. You can do 3 layers high depending on how much you want to bend over, how much work you want to do. And nucleus hive boxes are real good for this. It's really a good idea to tie this all together with a ratchet strap, so that if the bees do move in, all you have to do is close off the entrance and move it to its new location. Now that's your bottom board. This is your hive body, this box here. I use mediums. Supers are about 2 inches deeper, and they get to be quite heavy. This is 60 pounds once it's filled full of bees and honey and larvae. But I've already got some drawn wax there. That is a real good way for catching bees in the wild like this, because it smells like home. These are 10 frame hive bodies, and you can get them smaller, like the nucleus bodies are 5 frame. And then this is called an inner cover. They can go in and out of here, and sometimes there's a notch on the side. This is one that is manufactured, that I probably got from Man Lake Bee Supplies. I do a little bit of woodworking, and this is a homemade hive top. You can't do too much mistakes with a hive top. or the bottom board. So it's really good to save money where you can. I can't manufacture my own frames, so we go ahead and buy those. They end up being about $2 a piece with the plastic. It's called Plasticell on the inside. It's covered in wax, and they draw that out into the shape of their honeycomb. So these are my straws, and I've got them filled with a cotton ball and lemongrass oil, and I just stuff it in there with a safety pin. This is actually maple syrup tubing. It's a little fatter straw, and I'm going to put one in the bottom board, one in the top, and they're going to smell that along with the wax or any, you know, propolis that's in the hive, and hopefully they'll see it as a suitable home and want to move in. So it's a really good idea to put this in between frames. It's going to just fall down to the bottom anyway, but you can make it sit right here in the tops. And the outer cover. So the only way to actually remove these bees would be to cut open the tree. There is an opening in the crotch of the tree right up there. They've been here seasonally for 4 or 5 years, I would guess. And I had only found them by walking over here to the creek. So bees a lot of times will live in the wild somewhere by a water source. And just beyond this tree is a small creek that runs across another county and into our hayfield and into our woods to the main river. So they have lots of access for food and water supply, and they can easily get in and out of here. If you've noticed, this is the east side of the tree. That's really good for them because then they get that morning sunlight and it tells them to wake up and get going and go to work. I want to make sure that this hive is oriented the same way, because if they do decide to move in there, the sun will shine on there and then they will say, okay, it's time to get to work. Now, they're not going to all just magically leave their home and move into here, but if they're going to swarm, they will arrive and check it out, a few bees at a time, 20, 40, a handful of bees at a time. And if they do have a queen cell in there ready to hatch, they're going to go ahead and move in. So every year I make it a goal that after we've done our first cutting to set up a hive here and watch it all year long. If they move in, great, no harm done if they don't, but it's worth a shot because a nucleus hive for bees is about $145 a few years ago, and in the last couple of years they got up to about $185. Now that money really starts hurting you when you have to buy wooden wares, the Plasticell, anything like that. So hopefully we'll get some freebies out of this. So keep watching, hit that little playlist down there in the bottom. You can watch all of our beekeeping videos. Hit the notification bell down in the corner and you'll know when the next video comes out. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.